Sometimes life is ironic, and I've been thinking a lot about irony because I get to experience something that most Americans never get to experience. I am always given a plethora of opportunities every year to travel around the country, to travel around the world, and I feel like most people would love that. But I hate traveling. I would rather enjoy the cozy comfort of my own home than visit some far off country. I would rather see my family after a long, hard day of work than I would like to see the Burj Khalifa or any other of the great wonders of the earth. I feel like I love my life right now and I'm incredibly content. So this week is a bit nerve-wracking and I'm a bit anxious about it because I'm traveling not too far, just to Texas, but I'm going to be competing in jiu-jitsu, a jiu-jitsu super fight against a world-class opponent in a sport that I don't take part in. It's adjacent to what I do in my day job, but it's not the same thing. But it's important in life to do things that make you uncomfortable, even if it means traveling away from your family, even if it means being pushed, possibly facing embarrassment. But it's okay because even though I'm away from my family for 4 days, I get to enjoy the solace of good books. So this week is the week where I feel anxious, but good stories make it a little bit easier. Here are some passages from Keep Going that I really liked. Other than death, there is no finish line or retirement for the creative person. The great artists are able to retain this sense of playfulness throughout their careers. Art and the artist both suffer most when the artist gets too heavy, too focused on results. Of course, to change your mind is to do some real thinking. Thinking requires an environment in which you can try out all sorts of ideas and not be judged for them. To change your mind, you need a good place to have some bad ideas. I think it's important for artists to engage in frivolous activity from time to time. So it's Wednesday, doing media stuff, and I think I finally got out of my rut. I didn't even realize I was in a rut because I'm usually very happy with my weekly schedule every week. And I'm doing media stuff, we're taking pictures, and I'm like in a really great mood. And doing a different sport that is adjacent to the sport that I do every day, there's connections. And it's kind of awakened my mind to different possibilities of what I could do in my main sport. And I'm reading this book called Keep Going, 10 Ways to Stay Creative. And it uses a metaphor that I really liked. It's like, if you're a sculptor, try painting when you're in a rut. If you write novels, try writing poetry when you're in a rut. Try doing something that exercises your creative muscles, but has very low stakes. And I'm getting to do that. And it is definitely helping me kind of reconnect with my creative spirit, see the joy and the bliss in just doing something new and unheard of. Routine is very important, but also sometimes you have to abandon your routines. And that's what this week's kind of all about. In Thunderhead, after every chapter, there is a quote from the Thunderhead, because in this book, the Thunderhead is the great cloud, the great AI in the sky that governs all the Earth's affairs. And it is incredibly thought-provoking to read the passages that the Thunderhead shares with the reader, and consequently, the great cloud in the sky has become my favorite character. Let me read some of these quotes to you. I am always correct. This is not a boast. It is simply my nature. I know that to a human it would appear arrogant to assume an infallibility, but arrogance implies a need to feel superior. I have no such need. I am the singular sentient accumulation of human knowledge, wisdom, and experience. There is no pride, no hubris in this, but there is great satisfaction in knowing what I am, and that my sole purpose is to serve humanity to the best of my ability. But there is also a loneliness in me that can't be quelled by the many billions of humans with whom I converse every day, because even though everything that I am comes from them, I am not one of them. And here's the second quote, that's my second favorite. Perpetual observation is nothing new. It was a basic tenet of religious faith since the early days of civilization. Throughout history, most faiths believed in an Almighty, who sees not just what humans do, but can peer into their very souls. Such observational skills engendered great love and devotion from people. Yet am I not quantifiably more benevolent than the various versions of God? I have never brought about a flood, or destroyed entire cities as punishments for their iniquity. I have never sent armies to conquer in my name. In fact, I have never killed, or even harmed a single human being. Therefore, although I do not require devotion, Am I not deserving of it? It's just really cool to read about a utopian future where the AI that controls everything is not evil and hell-bent on destroying humankind. I didn't get the win, but I had a lot of fun. I didn't get submitted against one of the best grapplers in the world with only like 3 weeks of training, 3 jiu-jitsu training sessions. No moral victories. It's still lost. I feel quite good about it. It was a nice mental reset, and I think I feel a little bit better about myself and my skills and my abilities, and that's what this is all about. Task failed successfully. Time to go home. Friday night, I come home. My wife has hung up these hooks in the wall for my cape, my cloak, and my crowns. Helped organize and clean my library office area. Helped hang up my old tapestry from when I first started the channel. That's a great thing to come home to. Saturday, home sweet home. I'm glad to finally be home. 4 days is far too long to be away from my wife and my children. I enjoyed myself. It was nice to get out of my comfort zone, to compete in a sport that isn't what I usually compete in, to kind of get out there and perform, be in front of the fans, be in front of the crowd, feel that electricity I get from competing, because I really don't get to do that often anymore. Now that it's my full-time job, I really feel like I don't get to compete as much as I would like. It was really different when I was a professional mixed martial artist, as well as a student, as well as someone who was working a job, because fighting wasn't the only thing. But it was nice to kind of do that this week. I think I read Keep Going at the perfect time. I finished it late yesterday, because it's all about the artist's journey. It's all about getting yourself out of a rut, about finding your inspiration, about focusing on your art, not focusing on the outcomes or what the audience thinks. And I got to do that. I really think it helped keep me grounded. On the fiction front, I'm also reading Thunderhead this week. And that's the Age of Scythe trilogy. Thunderhead's the second installment. It takes place in a setting in the future where mankind has solved all societal ills, they've solved disease, and they've even got rid of death. The only way you could die in this world is if a scythe, a Grim Reaper figure, kills you, because populations still have to be kept in check. One thing I think is very interesting about the world of Scythe is there is no art, there is no religion, there is no music really, there is no theater. And if there is, it's not held in very high esteem, because mankind has evolved to the point where escapism is useless. When all your needs are met, life, like art, is lifeless. And I think that went along really well with Keep Going. So today I'm going to read a little bit more before bed. Tomorrow's my birthday. I turned 29, just one more year left of my 20s. Going to eat some greasy food, spend some time with the family. Also, it's the first day of June. So my goal for June, because I don't really want to plan for a TBR, because I feel like TBRs kind of constrict me, and it's my birthday month. I want to kind of enjoy it and focus on just, reading and enjoying it. I'm going to be reading some Stephen King and Terry Pratchett every day. That's kind of what I think is going to help continue on getting me out of this reading rut. Sunday, June 2nd. Happy birthday to me. 29 never felt so good. All that jazz. Final page count for this week, 537 pages. I finally finished Thunderhead. If you've been subscribed to the channel, I've been trying to read this for maybe about 7 or 8 months. A chapter here, a chapter there. I never reached the tipping point. I was never feeling the need, the urge to finish this book, but I passed the 50% point while I was in Austin, and it was very easy to finish it. A great ending. I have heard bad things about the third and final installment of this trilogy, but the first 2 installments, probably amongst the best YA fiction I have ever read. So hopefully The Toll does not throw it all in the toilet, and that's just hyperbole about people talking about the third book. I've read a little bit of Terry Pratchett and a little bit of Stephen King today. I think for the month of June, I'm going to be reading Blaze by Richard Bachman, which was a pseudonym for Stephen King, and Cujo by Stephen King, and I'll be finishing Guard's Guard, and I'll have to find another Terry Pratchett book to finish in June. So look forward to those books being front and center for next week. 537 pages, 2 books done. I had a jiu-jitsu super fight. It went well. Got to see my family. I turned 29. I'm super excited to get June started off with a bang. I think June's going to be the best reading month of the year so far. Fingers crossed. Thank you guys for watching this week's reading vlog. I'll see you guys next time.